Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, and I hope that everybody is doing well. And in today's video I wanted to speak about fragrances that smell like candies, and so if this is something that you're into, then stay tuned. And I would love to start with my recent favorite, and it's Kurky. I really unexpectedly fell in love in this fragrance because it just smells very happy, easygoing, and just brings kind of good memories and brings good vibes to my life, and that's what I need right now. I'm going through a little bit of a tough time, to be honest, and sometimes we kind of want to wear something very easygoing and something really happy and uplifting when we are sad, and that's what this fragrance does to me. It kind of uplifts my mood, and that's why I really enjoy it. So it smells like very ethereal, airy, transparent candies. It smells slightly fruity because there is a peach, and I think there is also raspberry, but it's very kind of light fruitiness. It's not a juicy or like intense type of fruitiness. It's almost like fruity candies, again very airy and very transparent. And the musk is very prominent throughout the wear of this fragrance, and I feel like musk is really what makes this fragrance very airy, ethereal, transparent, and it adds like a kind of sophisticated element to this fragrance. It doesn't let it go into completely gourmand, and very playful direction. While this fragrance is playful, it still is kind of like elevated and sophisticated, and that's what I like about it. And there's also vanilla mixed in, but I would say that like the fruity notes, the candies, and the musk are the most prominent, and the rest of the notes are kind of supportive. So if you want to smell gourmand and if you want to smell playful, but you still want to retain that kind of like grown-up element, and you want it to be transparent, you want something for the summer, for very hot days that's not gonna choke you out, Kurky is a really good choice. And next is Vanilla Candy Rock Sugar, and this fragrance is one of my favorites from Kayali because it's just so good. And this fragrance has a bunch of notes, but I don't really smell all of them. I smell primarily pear, lots of vanilla, lots of like this caramelly accords, marshmallow, bubblegum. It's very candied fragrance. I feel like out of all the fragrances that I'm going to discuss today, this one is definitely the most like candy forward. It straight up smells like candies to me, but in perfumey way. It doesn't smell overly juvenile or overly sweet or overly cloying, and it also doesn't really choke me even in the hot weather. Unless it's like super humid, I'm okay wearing this fragrance. So in that sense, it's kind of good year round. And if you really want to smell like a candy and more so like a caramelly, sweet, vanilla bubblegum, then I feel like you're gonna like Vanilla Candy Rock Sugar. And this one is more thick and more kind of prominent than Kurky. I feel like Kurky is very ethereal, like I've said, it's very transparent and super airy. This one is more like a cloud of a very intense sweetness, but it's still very well balanced and very well done, so that's why I love this fragrance. And the next fragrance is Devotion, and Devotion is for those who love lemony type of gourmands. I smell lots of candied lemon here. I smell something almost like pie-like. There's panna cotta, and maybe that's what gives me like a pie forward type of feeling, which I really enjoy. I overall like lemony gourmands, and I feel like if they're done well, they tend to smell really good. And I also feel like this fragrance is blended super well. There is an accord of rum, and it does kind of give me like slight booziness, but also it's very faint, so you're not gonna perceive this fragrance as boozy, but you're definitely going to perceive this fragrance as something that might have like boozy accords in it. And of course, in the dry down, there's lots of vanilla, and I would say that when the fragrance like fully dried down, it smells a lot like lemon, like vanilla, and I also get, like I've said, a feeling of like doughy, some pie dessert type of feeling, like a lemony dessert, like I've said before. So overall, I feel like it's a really good fragrance also for any season, any occasion, but don't wear it when it's like super hot, because I feel like sweet fragrances tend to not do super well in this kind of environment, but you know, for any other weather, especially if you live somewhere where it's spring now, it's definitely going to be beautiful. And the next fragrance is Candied Lychee and by Seven Virtues, and this is one of my favorite lychee fragrances. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. I should definitely look it up after I finish filming this video. So this fragrance is like a fruity floral gourmand. It's airy, it's juicy, it's fruity, but at the same time it's very sweet. There's, you know, lychee is definitely really prominent here, and there's a little supporting note of peony, like peony. You know, it adds like a subtle floral accord to this fragrance, but it doesn't make it overly floral, and it definitely doesn't overtake over this fragrance. It just adds like a floral accord. The most prominent note is lychee for sure, and there's also a note of jelly bean, which kind of makes it like a gourmand, and it takes it into more like a gourmandish territory, which I really enjoy. And also in the dry down you get lots of vanilla. And overall, I feel like it's a very crowd-pleasing scent. Lots of people will love it. It's very easy to wear. It's like perfect for every day, running errands, going to brunch. It's really nice. And this perfume is one of the perfumes that I have received a compliment on, and I do not receive compliments very often. It happened like 3 times in my life, and twice it was from people that are close to me, and only once it was random. And so this it was one of these compliments, and that tells you something. That definitely tells you something, because like I've been into perfume for so long, and it's just kind of embarrassing how little compliments I get. And last but not least is Burberry Her Elixir. And Burberry Her Elixir is definitely one of my favorites in this category. It kind of smells like a milkshake to me. It smells like ice cream that melted a little bit. Like it's very in this kind of like milky territory, even though there are no really notes that would suggest that, but it kind of smells to me like that. There is a note of strawberry and blackberry, if I'm not wrong, in the opening. So it's very kind of fruity forward perfume. And then there is jasmine in the middle, which I don't really pick up on it, so it doesn't really matter that it's there. And in the dry down, I pick up lots of vanilla, and this vanilla is still mixed in with lots of berries. So to me, again, this is very fruity type of perfume that kind of leans towards the gourmand territory, because it just smells like milkshake. It smells milky, it smells fresh and fruity, but at the same time it kind of gives me dessert feeling, but it still retains this kind of like, you know, transparent quality about it. Like it is thick, but it's not overpowering. It's not really perfume that would choke you out. So I highly recommend this perfume to those people who love fruity perfumes, who love berries, and for those who want this type of fruity perfume to lean a little bit into gourmand territory. So that was all. These were my choices of perfumes that smell like candy, and I really hope that you enjoyed this video. And if you have any suggestions for me of perfumes that smell like candy, I'll be happy to hear about them. I'm really curious to know any fragrances that also smell like candy. I'm always on the hunt for new perfumes, so please leave your recommendations in the comments, and I really hope to see you in the next video. Bye!